I want to give you a look at what we just stumbled upon. This is a big U.S. mail truck. I just spoke to the driver. He says it was actually parked here on Springwood. That fire is indeed still burning, and it is much smaller than it was last night, but officials say that they aren't sure exactly how it started. Even though this house next door to her burned down last year, you can still see signs that people have been making a home here. There's empty food containers and trash thrown everywhere. You see people helping people out here. We've got Councilman Jason Williams actually was coming to help a young lady, an elderly woman, out of her home. They are helping to pick her up over all of this debris. Lately, Brode says he feels like he's been watching his back more and more. So he installed 8 surveillance cameras. We learned some quick and easy tips to make sure that you aren't buying counterfeit merchandise. First, you want to look for these hologram stickers. Even if you don't know the best technique, do whatever you can to distract and disarm the gunman. Gun, gun, gun! We're walking through the fence, which would have been here. Neighbors over here looking at the damage. We spoke to one man who said he was here and heard the noise, was practically in tears as he's looking out his front door to see the damage here in his neighborhood. You can see roofs off of homes here, as well as down power lines, down trees. So you see people on the phone making calls to their family, loved ones, letting them know how things are going out here. We're actually, people, my family, are calling me, texting me to find out how we're doing here in New Orleans East. I grew up in New Orleans East, so looking at this damage right now, it is pretty heart-wrenching. It's devastating to see what people are going through. Yet again, we'll have to rebuild their homes, their property, rebuild their lives after this type of devastation. This is actually right across the street from a school, and earlier this afternoon there was a Jefferson Parish firefighter who came out to start a memorial here for the victims. Now, this all started at the victim's home, not far from where we're standing.
He just chased that poor woman out and murdered her.
Charles James Miller says he was just getting out of bed.
I heard the pop, 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 and I said, man, that sounds like shots.
Neighbor April Piku says she saw what happened next.
She was leaving for work, ran down the street in a car. He pursued after her, ran around the corner, and that's where it ended. But she ended up hitting this house.
Neighbors say 32-year-old Simone Veal lived here on Lily Street with a boyfriend. They'd moved in about a month ago.
Never heard anything out of him. But apparently this guy had been giving trouble. We've seen him walking around the neighborhood, but never gave much thought to it.
The neighbors say the same man they'd seen here before was chasing behind Veal and shooting at her Friday morning.
I heard the truck speeding out, running through the stop sign, hauling butt down the street over that way. I guess he was chasing her. So when I looked outside, I seen all the garbage can knocked in my front door, and as I walked further out, I seen the whole fence tore down and the house crashed into, and I said, oh man, like I really need this. You know, and didn't realize the guy was chasing, you know, he shot a policeman and killed a woman up at the intersection up there.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't know what to think of people these days.
And we've also spoken to State Representative Helena Moreno, who is on the Domestic Violence Prevention Commission. She tells us that the state actually ranks #2 when it comes to domestic abuse homicides. We'll have much more on that coming up, all new at 6.
Oh, he hugged me.
Vicki and Kevin Guidry are both NOPD officers who met on the job.
I think in 2000, when I graduated from the academy. Okay, cool.
Tuesday morning, she was working an accident in the city's 5th district. He was home getting ready for work as a tornado tore off their roof and the front of their home.
I mean, he called back to back, and when I finally answered, he was like, "The house is gone." I said, what are you talking about? He said, the house is gone. We just got hit by a tornado.
She says she rushed home in this situation and was in disbelief.
From that point on, I just broke down, you know? And I started maneuvering over the beams and stuff trying to get over here. But Lord, it was so high.
Around the same time, Markel Sneed, a firefighter for 9 years, heard about the tornado.
And I rushed home and found the neighborhood to look like this.
Once he saw his house was okay, he rushed to help his elderly neighbors.
I'm always willing to give help, you know, but you never think something like this where you're going to need help, you know.
Now both families focus on recovery.
The living room.
While they continue to serve their community.
It seems like I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go to work, and you know, I'm gonna do what I gotta do for the citizens, and then come home and deal with regular life. But you know, I come out here every day. I've been out here every day since it happened, and all I can do is just look.
But there's one thing they know for sure. You'll rebuild?
Yes. survive on 4th of Life.
70-year-old Robert Blackerby had come here to the Ochsner Fitness Center in Elmwood for his morning swim. It's when his life nearly came to an end.
I would go and do workout in the weight room. And then later during the day, no special time, I would go swimming.
After taking a dip in the pool last December,
I remember getting out of the pool and sitting on the side for a few seconds.
he's been told he then went into the steam room. When he came out, he collapsed beside the pool where people rushed to his side.
I was told that I only went about maybe 10 seconds without oxygen, and they put oxygen on me that quick.
Bystanders and fitness center staff did CPR. Paramedics continued on the way to Ochsner Hospital, where emergency room and cardiology doctors were waiting.
And at that point in time, he is not alive, he's dead, he's getting CPR.
Dr. Stephen Jenkins says there were multiple blockages in Blackerby's heart.
And the artery to the front of the heart is 100% blocked.
Jenkins says they pulled out all the stops, even basically freezing his body for 36 hours.
And then you ask the question and you just wait and you see, did we save this man's brain or did we not? And lo and behold, in Mr. Blackerby, he woke up immediately.
Doctors say the odds were all in his favor.
We got a man who does not look his stated age. He looks much younger, and that's because he tries to stay in shape, takes care of himself.
Blackerby, a 70-year-old grandfather who loves sports, scuba diving, and the open water, is slowing down a bit, but is ready to dive back into life.
And I can go walk, swim, ride bicycles, things like that, you know, do the yard work. Just don't overdo it.
He credits everyone who helped that day with giving him a second chance.
Hospital, they said I was their miracle patient, but I think I was just a lucky guy with miracle workers.
Casey Ferrand, WDSU News.